Addison. Add it.
Are you announcing this, or am I just jumping right into it?
Okay, this is the story that the Bailey kids, Sierra, Derek, and Luke, that their Mama Jo, who's their grandma on the Bailey side, has written herself.
And I'm not a writer. I decorate. So this is my first attempt and probably my last. But it was a joy doing it. So I'll turn the book around so y'all can see the pictures. All right, the name of this book is The Big Surprise, A Story of Adoption. Written by Janice Bailey, but the main characters in this story call me Mama Jo. And I won't read the dedication. Okay, are you ready? Once upon a time in the land of Alma, where Airedales run free, there lived a very handsome and uncommonly funny man who was married to a beautiful lady, beautiful like a princess. The man and the lady loved each other deeply. The man took great delight in saying humorous things to make the lovely lady laugh, because the sound of her laughter was like a merry song to his ears. He would tell a joke, share a story, or speak in an unusual voice, and she would get so tickled and would giggle so much that her sides would hurt. This is a picture of the land of Alma. You recognize that? You know that book, don't you?
We wish.
I wish. Because I am now.
Yes, that's right. The land of Alma. For years they were contented, just the two of them, joking and laughing and loving one another in their happy home. Then one day they looked at each other and said, "Don't you think a child would make our home even happier? Perhaps we should have a baby." Both agreed this was a fine idea.
Is that the prince?
Maybe not. It is kind of a fairy tale setting. But the facts are...
He's good looking.
Nice cabin you built.
Yeah.
Time passed, and as much as they wanted to have a little one, alas, it just didn't happen. The lovely lady became sad, and her heart began to feel heavy. She ached to hold an infant so much that some days she cried. The funny man would try to cheer her with a new antic or a clever story or even a silly face. She was polite and would offer a slight smile or attempt a little chuckle, but as hard as she tried, nothing seemed to work. Before long, the man became a little downcast himself. The man and woman prayed to God in heaven and asked him to please put a baby in the woman's tummy. Oh, let me show you. This is the man. I should show you the pictures first. Now, when we ask God for something, sometimes he says yes, and sometimes he says no. And then quite often he says, wait. You see, God knows everything. He knows how stories begin, and he even knows how they will end, even before the story gets started. Also, even though God says yes, no, and wait, you can't hear him say it with your ears. It's more like he talks to your heart. When the funny man and lovely lady asked God to put a baby in her tummy, he said, wait, to their hearts, because he had an idea, a plan, and a surprise for them. All the while, in the village of Greenwood, you need to see Greenwood.
I didn't see the sheep.
There's Greenwood. I'm sure you recognize it.
I didn't see the picture on the Oh, pretty.
All the while in the village of Greenwood, there lived another man and woman who had hearts as big as refrigerators. Their hearts had to be that big to hold all the love they had for small children and babies whose mothers and fathers were unable to care for them. The big-hearted man and woman brought these wee ones to their home and fed them, changed and bathed them, kissed and hugged them, then prayed for them and sang sweet songs to them at night. They gently wrapped these tykes in the love that filled their hearts, and yet, amazingly, they never ran out of that love. God just kept filling them up again. Now the man and woman were growing older, and let me show you the picture.
Those are really old.
Sorry about that. It's the best I can do. Now the man and woman were growing older and knew that they could not care for the tiny ones quite as well as they once did. They thought, wouldn't it be wonderful if the baby that was living with them even now could have a mama and daddy of his own? They asked God to give this precious baby Derek a happy home. They didn't know that God was already working on his plan and a surprise in the land of Alma. The big-hearted woman had a dear friend with a smile that could light up a room like sunshine. One day, the two friends were eating lunch together. The big-hearted lady asked her sunny smile friend about the prayer The big-hearted lady told her sunny smile friend about the prayer she and the big-hearted man had prayed for baby Derek in the happy home. The sunny smile friend's face began to glow even brighter. Do you know why? Because the sunny smile friend was the aunt of the lovely lady in the land of Alma. The sunny smile friend told the big-hearted lady about the lovely lady and the funny man who wanted a baby. Their eyes were wide. They smiled at one another and exclaimed, "This is perfect! Let's tell the lovely lady and the funny man about baby Derek." It was all arranged. The big day arrived. The day the funny man and the lovely lady would meet baby Derek.
That's like my house.
That's right! The funny man was so excited he could hardly sit down. And the lovely lady was simply giddy. Could this possibly be the baby God wanted in their happy home? And this is their happy home, which Luke recognized. It's a cabin. The mountain's a little exaggerated, but
We have an interstate.
Now, some people say there's no such thing as love at first sight, which means you love someone the moment you first see them. Although it doesn't happen often, believe me, it happens. And indeed, it happened that very day.
That looks like Derek. That is my That looks like Derek.
It is Derek.
It's truly Derek.
With his Halloween
I'll bet
glasses on his
that.
head.
Or maybe it's Derek.
When the funny man and lovely lady took baby Derek in their arms and looked into his beautiful brown eyes, their hearts were filled to the top and ran over with love. It was sheer delight to even look at him. He was so stunning in appearance. They knew that this little person was supposed to live with them in the happy home and learn to giggle with the lovely lady at the funny man's stories. They were prepared to do whatever was necessary to make this happen. And that's just what they did. They filled out lots of papers and talked to many people and answered bunches of questions. But to them, it was a pleasure because they were determined to have him as a part of their family, this tiny, adorable boy that had stolen their hearts. Now, you may be thinking that this is the big surprise that God had for the funny man and the lovely lady, but God is remarkable, and so are his ways, and he was just getting started. Dave, you have to see this blacksmith. You see, from time to time, the big-hearted man and big-hearted woman would care for a precious young girl. She had the same exquisite brown eyes as baby Derek. She was enchanting to look at, but even more lovely still was the amazing kindness and sweetness that lived within her. The most wonderful and astonishing thing of all is that she was baby Derek's older sister. Sister Sierra also wanted a mom and dad and a happy home filled with cheer. God knew that too. Did you see the picture? It's the big-hearted man in his blacksmith shop with the little girl watching. Sorry. When the funny man and lovely lady learned of the little girl, they considered how wonderful it would be if not only baby Derek, but also Sister Sierra could live with them in their happy home. They imagined watching the two of them grow, running up and down their stairs, counting birds from the front porch swing, enjoying fires in the fireplace, stomping through mud in the river, camping, learning to shoot and climb trees, snow skiing, building forts and teepees, riding four-wheelers, taking trips to the beach, and being loved by a gaggle of grandparents, aunts, uncles, and cousins. Could such a dream possibly come true? If God wanted it to happen, nothing could stop it. So they decided to let him work out the details, and that's just what he did. The day came. Let me show you this picture. I don't know if you can see it. It's a courtroom.
I remember that day.
All right, listen up here. You're going to like the word here in a sentence. You'll make me forget. The day came when the funny man and lovely lady, baby Derek, Sister Sierra, along with lots of friends and family, met at the important ceremony at the courthouse in the metropolis of Van Buren. When they all gathered in the courtroom, nearly every seat was filled. The judge banged his gavel on his desk, and everyone became quiet. It was time to begin the adoption. The funny man held baby Derek as Sister Sierra stood closely between them and the lovely lady. They smiled as the judge talked about what a great thing adoption is, because everyone there already knew that, because let me start that sentence over. They smiled as the judge talked about what a great thing adoption is, but everyone there already knew that because of the joy that filled the room. At last, the judge announced that baby Derek and Sister Sierra were officially the children of the funny man and the lovely lady. Everyone clapped their hands, cheered, and some even cried. Diane, where are you? It's hereditary, isn't it?
Mommy!
Who's that?
Daddy, Mommy.
I'll show you the picture. He's getting so excited about it. Yes, I'll let you see again.
Mama, Daddy.
Pictures were taken of the new family as they were a glorious sight to behold. It was a moment that all those in the courtroom will long remember, right? Right about now, you probably expect to read, and they lived happily ever after. Not so quickly, my dears. Let's not forget, God's in the business of big surprises. We're almost finished, so y'all have been so patient. Thank you. Then, one morning, the lovely lady awoke and felt strange, as if something inside her had changed. She decided to go see her doctor. It was the physician who told her about God's big surprise. She could scarcely believe her ears. Had she heard him correctly? She had been so busy enjoying life with her two children that for a moment she had forgotten the prayer she had placed before the Lord a short time ago. You see, once God had made the funny man and the lovely lady, baby Derek and Sister Sierra, a family, he was ready to give them all an incredible surprise to enjoy together. At last, he was ready to put a baby in the lovely lady's tummy. And that is just what he had done. Ready for this picture? Get ready, That's you, baby. Before long, the lovely lady and funny man brought baby brother Luke to the happy home. Like a candle on a cake, what a gleeful spark this fair and charming child added to the family. He was treasured by his big sister and older brother, and they helped care for him, played for him, told him stories, and sang sweet songs to him at night, because that's what families do. So, someday, should you travel through the land of Alma, where Airedales run free, be sure to venture past the happy home. You will likely see 3 children playing in the yard as a funny man and lovely lady watch them from a porch swing. For a moment, you may think you hear the tinkling of a bell blowing in the breeze. But then you'll suddenly realize that what you hear is the sound of laughter from a special family that God put together in the happy home. He is so wise and so great and so full of love for each of us. This story is only getting started, but the exciting thing is God knows the beginning, the ending, and all of the fantastic surprises He has in store for every one of us along the way.
Someone's here.
And at the end, I just put a couple of verses. Delight yourself also in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart. And also, I know... I'll show them the video. I know what I'm doing. I have it all planned out. Plans to take care of you, not abandon you. Plans to give you the future you hope for. That's from Jeremiah 29:11 from the Message.
Thank you, Mama Jo.